Joel. Hey guys. Fix that. It is dance night, Savannah. It's Thursday night. And that is dance night. It's actually usually Thirsty Thursday, but that's been canceled because we're social distancing. Let me turn this off. All right. So hey everybody. Thursday, we've almost made it through another week of social distancing and quarantine and all that stuff. Just an update for those of you who've asked on my dad. I posted earlier, but he had a kind of a rough night last night. He had a drainage tube where he had the lung surgery, and they had taken it out and removed it and sent him home. Well, the tube, the hole, I guess, the wound started really leaking a lot of fluid last night around 12:30 or 1, and every time he coughed, it would kind of just shoot stuff out. So he ended up going to the Mary Breckenridge ER, and they were great. Of course, no visitors are allowed in there, so we just dumped him out and sent him in there alone because that's all we could do. We sat in the parking lot and waited for the doctors and nurses to come let us know what was going on. And the end result was that he was transported by ambulance back to Lexington to Central Baptist or Baptist Health or whatever it's called now. And of course, no one can be in that hospital either. So we didn't go to Lexington. We stayed here, and we all feel guilty about it, but there was nothing we could do because we couldn't go to the hospital. So he is in the hospital, and they did surgery again today and reinstalled a drainage tube. So hopefully that will help, and he'll be in a couple of days, and we're hoping to get him back home then, because I think you're probably safer in Hyden than you are in Lexington if you are someone who's just had major lung surgery and with this virus going around. So hopefully we can get him home soon. Tonight's story is one of my more embarrassing ones from college. It is the only time that I ever have played football in my life. I have watched football, and I kind of know what's going on in football. I mean, I know the basics, but I'll not lie and say that sometimes when I'm at the UK games, I have to look to see if the cheerleaders are cheering. And if the cheerleaders are cheering, then I cheer, and if they're not, then I'm like, oh no, that was a bad play. So, but I mean, a lot of times I know, but a lot of times I don't. So, yeah, that's how much into football I am, and this story relates to that. It's called The Blitz, or How One Play Changed My Football Career. I've only played one football game my entire life, Pledge Bowl, my freshman year of college. For some unknown reason, the Greek community at Transylvania University, I promise that's a real school, thought it would be swell if the freshman pledges to each fraternity played each other in a football playoff type tournament every year. This was a big deal to the members of Phi Kappa Tau, my fraternity. It was our first chance as newbies to prove our loyalty to the Greek letters we proudly wore on our chests. I was reluctant to play and voiced my concerns to anyone who would listen that I had no experience playing football and didn't even know the rules. The fraternity was adamant I not sit it out, but no one ever explained to me what to do or how to do it. Perhaps they thought the ability to play this game was inherently found in the genetic makeup of male DNA. They were wrong. All I knew about football was to be tough and mean, talk smack, and occasionally pat my teammates on the rear. The morning of the Pledge Bowl was a brisk fall morning. The trees on campus were bursting with color, the sun was shining, and there was the scent of autumn in the air. Everyone seemed pumped and ready for action. Everyone except me. I had a deer in the headlights look and an upset stomach. I didn't know how I was going to pull this off. Finally seeing me in my near-panicked frenzy, a couple of upperclassmen brothers, Chip and Jay, took me aside. They said, "We understand what you're going through. The best thing to help is this," holding up a bottle of bourbon and 2 shot glasses. At that point in my life, in my 18-year-old life, wine coolers and the occasional beer was all the alcohol I had drunk. But the brothers seemed to be sincere, so I took them up on their offer and downed 2 quick hits of Maker's Mark. As the liquor warmed my insides, it numbed the negative thoughts in my head. I didn't care if I knew the rules or not. I was going to win this Pledge Bowl for my fraternity. Roll, Taw, roll. Bring on those Pi Kappa Alphas. Our team started the day playing defense. As we lined up on the field against Pi Kappa Alpha, everyone looked serious. Game faces were on except mine. I had a big grin on my face, and a case of the giggles. I then decided that I would talk some smack. "Hey Pikes, I bet you throw like girls. Hey Pikes, today I'm giving out free lollipops and whoop ass, and I'm all out of lollipops," I yelled to the other team inches from my face, waiting for the ball to be snapped into play. Since no one had seen me downing the whiskey shots, my teammates looked at me with confusion, and most of the Pikes were equally stunned. When the ball was hiked to the quarterback, I just started running for any player on the other team. As I ran, I let out a primal scream that sounded like I had been speared by a hot poker. In my defense, no one ever explained to me that there was a difference in flag football and regular football. Had someone said, "The reason we are wearing these long flowing streamers out of our shorts is that in order to tackle someone, you simply grab his streamer," I would have done that very thing. But no one had explained that to me. In my bourbon-fueled rage, I rammed into an unassuming Pike pledge who was watching his quarterback try to find someone to throw the ball to downfield, and tackled him with all the force and grit I had in me. We were both airborne for a few seconds and then landed on the ground and rolled 3 full rotations before coming to a stop, my scream the only noise on the entire field. I stood up, looked around, proud of what I had just done. The poor guy I had tackled was crumpled on the field, trying to regain his breath. The 2 referees pulled their yellow streamers out and threw them into the air. I didn't know what that meant, so I pulled my streamers out of my shorts and threw them into the mix, and for good measure, patted one of the refs on the rump. A bit of a skirmish between the teams ensued and was quickly broken up by college administrators. I was still oblivious to the fact that this was all due to me and my actions. It was then made clear to me by one of the referees that I was being thrown out not only of the game but the entire Pledge Bowl. I can't say that I was happy with the news my football debut was over after only 1 play. I was, however, bewildered with the reasoning behind this decision. I kept telling my brothers I had told them I didn't know how to play, but they just kept laughing, patting me on the back and telling me that I was a legend in the making. Having been banned from the game itself, I found Chip and Jay and proceeded to sip bourbon and watch my brothers play from the sidelines. It's probably no coincidence that I ended my college experience as president of this fraternity. In the years following that historic day in college, I've continued my friendship with these same men. Our love for each other now extends to wives and partners, children, and even a grandchild or 2. I owe this circle to the sport of football. Even if I still can't tell the difference from a fullback or a halfback, I can still be found on crisp fall afternoons sitting at some tailgate with my brothers sipping on bourbon. The first question often ask after mentioning a sporting event is who won? But sports are so much more than a competition where one wins and the other loses. Sports gives grown men the chance to paint their faces and wear horns or cheese or clown wigs on their heads in public without ridicule. They offer us a way to connect not only with teammates and opponents, but to magically bond with 30,000 people all wearing the same color and yelling the same chant. The true benefit of any sport, whether it be a small college football pledge bowl or the NCAA Final Four basketball tournament or a T-ball game at the local park, is the relationships forged that stay with you the rest of your life. Because there is nothing like being with an old friend and hearing the words, "Remember that time?" And so that was Bernadette Peters Hates Me, the story of my intramural football debut and the only time that I ever played football, the one and only. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys are staying safe and staying calm and surviving all your homeschooling and stuff that you're having to do with your kids. And I will talk to you the next time I come on. Have a good night.